Alright, ladies and gentlemen, today's lesson is Comparing and Scaling 4.3. We are developing strategies for solving proportions. It's going to be on page 53 and 54. The ACE problems are 6 through 14, 24, 27, and 28. Your learning target is I can see the benefits of different proportional models. Basically, when do you want to use which type of proportion? So, here are the notes. And the notes are the pros and cons of different proportional models. And I've given an example here and 3 different models. Now, are these the only models we have? No, but they're the most common ones we use. A bus uses 300 gallons of gas traveling 30 miles. How many gallons of gas for 5 miles? Well, one of the things I can do is I can set up a direct ratio method where I have gallons, I have miles, and I set up a proportion where I know that 300 gallons will get me to 30 miles, and I know that a certain amount will get me to 5 miles, but I don't know that mystery number. So I set up a proportional problem, and I ask myself, 30 times 5 gives me, 30 times what will give me 5? Now, I realize this gas is burning a whole lot of gasoline, and I may have mixed this problem up a little bit. I may have meant miles for gallons, but let's go ahead and roll with it. I know if I divide 5 divided by 30, I find out that I get 0.666 repeating. And if I multiply 300 by 0.666 repeating, I end up finding out that my answer is 50. So apparently I use 50 gallons of gas to go 5 miles. I'm not sure who makes this car, but I think they're in a lot of trouble with the EPA. Now the table method works pretty much the same way. If I set up the problem where I've got gallons and I have miles, I can set up at the very far end of this 300 gallons gets me 30 miles. And I just can cut that in half. I can say that, well, 150 will get me 15, that 75 will get me, about 7.5, and so on, until I find my mystery number. But it will give me all of these wonderful benchmarks I can use. And then I can find a unit rate. And a unit rate, I want to know gallons, miles per gallon, or gallons per mile. So if I want to know how many gallons per mile, I would just do 300 divided by 30, and I find out that I get 10 gallons per mile. And if I had no 10 gallons per mile, I know I could just multiply the whole thing by 5 and find out that that it will take me 50 gallons. So, what are the benefits of a unit rate? Well, a unit rate gives me one number that I can use to scale up to any other number. It's not as direct, and it still requires me to do a couple of steps. But all of these methods are equally valid. All of them are equally important and equally important for you to know and are useful in different situations. Your job in this lesson is mostly to just describe which type of method is best for you and why you think it's good, and having multiple ways to solve them in your toolbox. So be prepared in this lesson, which starts on page 53 and 54, to describe how you would solve these problems. How you would describe these problems, how you would solve them, and showing how to solve them in 2 different ways. Your problems are on page 53 and 54. I believe it's A through something. I seem to have forgotten which one it was, but you'll need to do ACE problems 6 through 14, 24, 27, and 28. Have fun.